Hey YouTube, how you guys doing? This is Silver Husky. Please make sure to hit the like button, the subscribe button, and ring the notification bell so you'll know about all of the new videos that I put out daily. So this video is in continuation to last week's video, which was on flipping coins, numismatics or otherwise. So you'll remember some of the pieces that we talked about featured here. You can see the Fafnir series. I'll be bringing this up here in a little bit. And some of the key features that we brought up were the rarity of a coin, meaning the limited mintage. It can also be the beauty of a coin, who mints it, the first in a series, such as this beautiful Spider-Man coin right here. Of course, they're worth a little bit more if they're slabbed in MS70 or PR70, depending on the finish. And there were several of them that were discussed. Actually, a new one just popped up on my radar, which was the Colossus of Rhodes. And some of you may have picked that one up as well. But here's another one. This is the Zeus coin, both in BU and in antiqued. Both of them for a very high premium now as compared to when they were first released. And there's many of them that go along the lines of this. And you'll see the Queen Anne's Revenge and a few other ones as well. But of course, recognizing that there is value in more than just collecting, right? So let's say you're a collector and you're on a budget, but you also want to stack. So you might be waiting for the next item, the next big thing to come up so you can buy one for yourself. Well, of course, I propose consider flipping, right? And this is, I've heard the term cowboy flipping, or I don't know where that one came from, but just an example being purchasing several of one item and then turning around and selling most of them and keeping one or two for yourself. And how the profitability in that would work, I'll show you here in just a moment. But to recap what we talked about last time, we were talking about things like certificates of authenticity, low numbers, and things like that. All of those factors play in. So if you have several of these things matching up together, what you end up with is a coin that has a great potential for flipping, right? And of course, don't expect that all of them are going to go up to 120,000 a year. So your average coin, this is in recap, your average coin will have a slight to maybe just about twice as much value, and then eventually it will taper down, and then over time with scarcity it will go back up a little bit. But that is your average coin, right? And then there's another type of coin that potentially might have a sharper rise, and as you see in the sharper rise, it's more of a spike from initial release, and then over time it does decrease in value as the hype kind of disappears. These are the more hyped coins, such as first in a series, etc. A great example would be like the purple Fafnir, right? And that one was released at, I believe, $350 maybe. And then, of course, it came back down. So here you can see that chart. Great spike in the beginning, and then it kind of tapers back down. It hasn't tapered down yet, right? We're still in the spike season, but over time you'll see that it'll drop down from $800 or $900, maybe back down to $600 or $700. So that happens gradually over time, maybe a year, maybe 2 years, not sure. Of course, the time frames for each of these coins, they have different life cycles, we'll call them. And of course, the longer out from when they first were released, generally that's when collectors are looking for them. People who maybe got into the coin game a little bit later, years down the road, and they look back and they're like, oh, that was a pretty one. How much is that? And then this, of course, is an example of a flop, right? A coin that maybe had a lot of hype, but upon initial release, the consumer didn't really care much for it. So whatever the release price was, it'll eventually and inevitably dip back down closer to spot. Maybe not quite at spot, but much closer to spot. So a lot of generic bullion might do this, even some constitutional, some rounds from, some coins from certain countries, they may do that. So again, going back to the main points, when you're looking at flipping, I always say, don't always go with what you like, but go with what the people want, right? What are people excited about? What are they talking about? Which mint? What was the mintage? Was it the first in the series? How does the design look? Is there added hype on social media? And do you like it? So this chart right here, this is really important to look at. This chart right here is talking about a person's stack, and this is in the hundreds of ounces, right? And of course, you can scale that up. You can call it 10,000 ounces or whatever. And then this time scale, of course, is going to vary from person to person. Could be weeks or years or whatever. So over time, for a traditional stacker, your line is going to go, it's fairly linear, right? You're adding to your position a little bit at a time. When you get a tax return or you get every paycheck, whatever it might be, you're adding to your position. You're purchasing, and you're just throwing it on the pile, stashing it away, maybe for retirement, right? So I'm going to propose to you a different take. This is the difference. This would be flipping. You make a purchase, you sell a little. Then you make another purchase with the earnings plus whatever else that you would normally have invested. And then you do it over and over again. You can see in the beginning it kind of starts off even, and then it goes under, but then over. And then eventually it sustains a larger position over time. And this could be, in addition to just flipping silver, you can do this with gold as well. So you see an initial release, just like what we talked about on the previous video, and you start to flip them. You buy 5 or 6 or 7 of them, and just know that you don't have to go with the really expensive coins. You can go with something as simple as a normal bullion round from a certain country. So here, just to show you a time point. So this is two time periods, right? Maybe this is 2 months, maybe this is 2 years. But in the 2 time periods on the black line, that is a stacker, right? A stacker is now sitting at about 175 ounces, we'll call it. All right, and then if we go up to what a flipper is making, right? Somebody who's flipping is making just shy of 300. And of course, these charts are all hypothetical. This is if all bets go in your favor. But let's expand it to 4 time cycles, right? Again, this could be 4 months, this could be 4 years, who knows? But here we go. Going from the black line, here's what a consistent stacker is stacking. They're sitting at about 450, maybe 500 ounces, right? In the same position, right? This is somebody who's sold and bought several times over. And they're sitting right around 800, right? And again, not necessarily drawn to scale, and results may vary. So again, I am not a financial advisor. I'm just showing you some of the potential behind flipping versus just stacking. So this one, 6 time cycles, right? When we stretch it out a little bit further, there's your black line, and your black line sitting right about even where it would have been 2 years prior or 2 time cycles prior at 800 ounces. And then who knows what the flipper might be at by then. So what I'm talking about is increasing your position, right, by flipping. And the cool thing is if you are a collector, this allows you to, in theory, if everything works well, you can collect for free, right? You just have to have a seed, right? A seed financial investment to put into it. And eventually in time, that seed grows, right? So you flip, and your stack starts to grow also. So the overall trend line for that purple line is much higher than the trend line for the black line, right? For the traditional stacker. So again, another example for those of you who may be collectors, right? This is the collector, and I think he's got a bar of gold or something there. But here's a great example. The Fafnir, the gold one, came out, right? And almost immediately on eBay, you're seeing them running for anywhere from 600 to 750, maybe 800. Well, JM Bullion had a great deal come up just the other day where you could have actually scored one of these for $250. And maybe you don't have $250, but if you did, you could have scored one, right? And you could have gotten it for a fairly good price. And that's actually exactly what I did. I ended up picking up 2 of them, so it came out to about $520. I immediately threw one of them on eBay, and as you can see, this is as of Thursday, right, the 16th. It's at $510, and there's still 2 days left. So, with that said, if you have the means to, these flips make it really easy to pick up really awesome collector pieces basically for free. That coin basically paid for the first one. And of course, I do wish that I would have gotten more, but that's where I was at right now. That's what I had liquid available at the moment, and I jumped on it right then. So again, that's just to say that you can too, or you can work your way up. And don't ever have the fear of missing out, that FOMO feeling. There's no need for that. You can just really rest assured that small moves will lead to greater things down the road. And guys, I want to thank you all for watching, and please know that I am not a financial advisor, so please take responsibility for your own actions, do your due diligence and research before making any large financial purchases, as this is money, right? This is silver, and this is a form of exchange or commodity of wealth. And of course, anything you do, that's on you. So this is just meant as purely educational and somewhat from my experience. But again, guys, please hit like and subscribe, and I'll see y'all real soon.